Welcome back. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth is ready, Your Honor. We're up against the Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Wright's rival from way back in the day? I can't believe it. Feels like our chances at winning this trial have just taken an incredible nosedive. Still, at least there are no whips involved. I understand that this arrangement is rather unorthodox. However, it is also the most efficient way of dealing with the case at hand. But what about Prosecutor Von Karma? The police are searching for her as we speak. You needn't worry, Your Honor. I see. In that case... Court is back in session for the trial of Shady. Is the defense ready? If I could ask just one question first, Your Honor? Yes? Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you truly believe my client, Shady, to be guilty of murder? That is what my investigation has led me to believe, yes. I see. Looks like this is the real deal, huh? What are you thinking? Here's what I'm thinking. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Thank you, Your Honor. The defendant is one Shady. He is currently unemployed. However, he is known to have once been under the employ of Vito Ravalis. A terrifying gangster was in my courtroom last week. That's not going to help with Shay's image. Former detective Charles Fuzz was found dead in the defendant's apartment 2 nights ago. That man who kept playing that ridiculous music? Just how many past cases did this crime involve? You're not the only one who thinks this is crazy, believe me. The prosecution will prove that Shady is the only one who could have committed the crime, as the first witness will surely prove to the court. Very well. You may call your first witness. Detective Emma Skye, please take the stand. Name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye, and I'm a homicide detective, and it's an absolute pleasure to be working with you again, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, well, I brought all the evidence just like you asked. I even organized it all alphabetically so it's easier for you to sort through. Thank you, Miss Skye, but are you hungry, sir? I have a fresh bag of snackoos you can have. Or if you prefer, I just received a new brand of fingerprinting powder that's absolutely... Detective Skye, the only thing I require is your testimony. Please tell the court about yesterday's investigation. Yes. Whatever you need, sir. Detective Skye looks so happy that she could die. Literally. The mood matrix is detecting near dangerous levels of ecstasy. I can't believe she offered to hand away her snackoos and forensic kit. I don't think I've ever seen Emma like this. Very well. Hopes I phased out of existence briefly. Please give your testimony, Detective Skye. A body was found inside the defendant's apartment. The evidence shows that the victim died during a struggle with his killer. He was killed when a bullet was shot through his chest. We believe that the pistol found at the scene is the murder weapon. The body was inside the defendant's own apartment? Indeed. It is just one of the reasons for which he was suspected. We are getting ahead of ourselves, however. For now, I only wish to establish the facts of the case. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination. I guess Mr. Edgeworth doesn't want to rush things. I bet he's got everything planned down to the smallest detail. It feels like his talents are being wasted as the chief prosecutor. He should be in the courtroom full time. You're not making me feel better about our situation here. Please, Athena. Details of the case. Alright. Need to be careful with my phrasing here. How do you propose that the victim got inside the crime scene? That's simple. It could only have been the defendant who let him in. The defendant? Digging your own grave a little early there, aren't you, Mr. Justice? Crap! This is exactly what I wanted to avoid. We had a look at the records concerning the defendant's apartment. It clearly states that Mr. D is the only person to have received a front door key since the beginning of his tenancy there. Oh yeah. D told me that his apartment belongs to Redco. Mag must have been the one who gave it to him. After the last tenant, the victim of OG4 died. If the defendant is the only one who could have opened the door, he must have been present when the victim was murdered. Precisely. It's worth noting that the front door to the defendant's apartment locks automatically when closed. It's incredibly unlikely that the defendant left his apartment with the door wide open, essentially making entry from outside impossible for anyone without a key. Well, this is off to a great start. We knew that this information was going to come out eventually. Might as well get out of the way early, I guess. You really are feeling more optimistic today. Oh. On the topic of the crime scene, I have a diagram showing the area around where the body was found, based on what the police saw when they arrived at the scene. Okay. The evidence showed that the victim died during a struggle with his killer. How could you be so sure that there was a struggle? Because of this! The victim had a large bruise as a result of, as well as multiple small cuts to the top of his head. And we found traces of blood on the glass shards and the bottle at the crime scene. So what you're saying is that the victim was hit with the bottle before he died. That is certainly the most logical explanation. According to the defendant, the empty bottle has been left atop the drawers opposite the window, near the door. Shay leaves empty bottles lying around his apartment. You're hardly one to judge people for being a little messy. Alright, that sounds painful. I don't think there's any disagreement there. What about the victim? Would he have died instantly? It's possible that he was able to hold on for a little while, but he would have quickly bled out. He definitely wouldn't have been able to stand or walk, if that's what you're getting at. This means that for all intents and purposes, Fuzz went down the instant he was shot. Where? Are you able to prove that? You know full well, Apollo. What's this? There were some complications during the investigation. Namely, the bullet fired from the gun was never actually found at the scene. Hence, we've been unable to perform a test on the rifling marks. Which means that you can't possibly prove that the victim was killed with his pistol. Yeah. We got that going in our favor, but that's a small bit. However, there were no other weapons found at the scene, and forensics have confirmed that the bullet wound was left by a gun of around the same caliber. There was one other oddity surrounding that pistol, wasn't there? It's the victim's pistol. You're referring to where it was found, yes? Where the gun was found? What do you mean? When the police arrived, the pistol was found in Detective Fuzz's right hand. However, the autopsy has confirmed that there is no way this was a case of suicide. Ahem. And how can you be so sure of that, Mr. Edgeworth? Gunpowder burn. Apologies for the random breaks that have been cropping up lately. It's I feel like my voice is starting to give out easier. So it's brief break for water and etc. point-blank shot would have left burns around the bullet hole, and yet no such burns were found, suggesting that this shot was fired from at least a small distance. It appears that the killer wiped their prints and planted the pistol in the victim's hand, as a last-ditch effort to pass the murder off as a suicide. I don't know. It sounds like a really lame attempt. I wonder if there's a different explanation for what the pistol was doing there. Oh? I believe we've heard enough. Now that everyone understands the facts of this case, let us move on to the reason why the defendant was arrested. Please begin when you're ready, Miss Sky. Alright. Well, that was quick. Only the defendant has access to his apartment. And that's the end of the testimony. The front door was the only way in, and it was intact when the police arrived. It must mean that Dee was at the scene at the same time as the victim. There were no signs of anyone else at the crime scene after all. Either. The police arrived at the scene to find the front door closed. The defendant opened it from inside after they threatened to break it down. He was in there alone with the body. That's when he was arrested. I see. The defendant really was the only person with the key to the front door. Then he must have been the one to let the victim inside his apartment. Which would mean that the defendant was present when the victim was shot. Indeed, there is no other explanation. Except Shay told me that he didn't go back to his apartment until after the murder. I didn't see any psych logs at that point. It certainly is a conundrum. Mr. Justice, please begin. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Oh geez, you're talking about the key to his front door, right? Shady was the only person to be given a front door key since his tenancy started. That means that there shouldn't be anyone else with access to the apartment. But that's only if you assume that the killer used the door. What if there's another way inside? It's impossible, because the front door was the only way in and it was intact when the police arrived. The only way in? Are you sure about that? Of course. How else would somebody get inside? What about the window? As I'm sure you know, the defendant's apartment is on the 4th floor of the building. Using the window would be impossible for anyone who couldn't fly. I guess a flying killer is pretty unlikely, huh? I would certainly hope so. There's no way I'm dealing with that ever again. Mr. Edgeworth is mumbling to himself. Let's just move on. Yes. Flying killer, I assume. Hot air balloon. Are you sure about that? Couldn't the defendant have, I don't know, left the room before the victim was killed? That's highly unlikely. The defendant was found at the scene when the police arrived. Furthermore, nobody else would have been able to get into that apartment. I imagine the defendant would have mentioned if he had let a third person inside himself. Gotta admit, some pretty solid logic. How come you never give me this much praise? Oh god. It wouldn't be a Ace Attorney Online video without things going wrong. What's so hard to understand? None of the evidence related to the crime indicates the presence of any third party at the scene. No fingerprints, no bloodstains, nothing. If that's true, then it's bad for us. Yeah, need a counter-argument fast. Shay would have to be the killer if he was the only person at the crime scene. And from the looks of it, it doesn't look like anyone else was there that night. But Shay said that he only returned to his apartment after the murder. Corpses don't just show up out of nowhere like that. You seem to have a habit of doing just that whenever you're around. that somebody else could have been at the crime scene that night. We could say that maybe the old victim has access to it. Or we could not. There's a contradiction here. Oh, please. Just because you study underwrite doesn't mean you need to resort to his usual tactics. Well, Mr. Edgeworth's a lot more savage in court, huh? Yeah. Oh, he could do the bottle. Bottle has glove marks. You say that there were no traces of a third person. I'm not so sure that's entirely true. What do you mean? You could at least look a little surprised. You remember this, don't you? The bottle that was used to hit the victim. Well, whilst it's true that the defendant's prints are on the bottle, there's also a set of unidentified glove marks. Glove marks? That the glove marks were unidentified suggests that neither the defendant nor the victim had matching gloves. That can only mean that these marks were left by a third person. Objection! False. Is that really the best you can do? Wow, Mr. Justice, I'm amazed. Every single word in that sentence was wrong. Huh? I will concede that the glove marks left behind could not be linked to the defendant or the victim. That certainly doesn't prove that there was any third party at the crime scene. Why not? Mr. Justice, can you prove when those glove marks were left behind? After all, they could have been left there, say, before the defendant ever bought this bottle. I cannot prove that the marks reached the bottle at the time of the murder. Then there's absolutely nothing to suggest the existence of a third party. I must agree with the prosecution. This evidence is not enough to prove that there was a third person at the scene. I do believe we discussed this point sufficiently. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Skye. That said, there's still one thing we need to talk about. There's more! Talking about the defendant's motive for the crime. A motive? Why so shocked, Mr. Justice? Did you forget about this letter? That's a letter from the victim's desk at the precinct. Charles Fuzz was arrested for the theft of a case file from the Criminal Affairs Department, as well as the murder of a detective by the name of Victor Timothy. This letter, which was found on Mr. Fuzz's desk, had ordered him to carry out such a crime. I have a really bad feeling about this. A similar letter was discovered at the crime scene. Most notably, it bears the exact same signature. You're saying that it's the defendant's signature? Not quite, Your Honor. However, the letter does show that the defendant had the means to forge the set of orders that was sent to the victim. In brief, it is clear that it was the defendant who was behind the theft that occurred in February. Oh boy. This was the defendant's motive for murder. Getting rid of his accomplice in the theft, he had aimed to eradicate all ties between himself and Victor Timothy's murder. Hold on a second. The truth of this letter detailed theft of the OG4 case file. Timothy's murder isn't mentioned at all. True. Murder was not a part of the initial plan. However, there can be no doubt that the theft and the murder are linked. I believe it was Wright himself who proved that during the trial in February. But Detective Fuzz was declared not guilty for the murder. Perhaps. However, it is still undeniable that the letter sent by the defendant is connected to that case. Killer or no, Fuzz was the only link between the defendant and Timothy's murder. I mean, you're not wrong. But still. Kind of a weak excuse throwing out the not guilty verdict, but also... which is why he had no choice but to erase Fuzz once and for all. No! I don't believe it. Prosecutor Edgeworth came to the exact same conclusion that I did. And now he's using it against me. It's like he's a completely different person when he's standing in court. Very well. I believe that the defendant's motive has been well established. This isn't going well, Athena. Okay, we had a rough start. We'll just have to turn things around later. That's easier said than done. We have proven that the defendant and the victim were alone at the time of the murder, which means all that's left is to figure out what happened between the two of them. I'd like to call my next witness to the stand. Well, we've got nothing whoa. Huh. She's a new face. And here I was expecting to see that nonsense-talking Brit. Your name and occupation, witness. Of course. My name is... Oh. Hello? Oh, hi there. No, it's okay. I have time to talk. Uh-huh. Okay. Did you ask Carl about that? Carl from accounting. Who else? What do you mean he's on vacation? Since when? Does Jade know about this? Uh-huh. Ah, I know, right? I mean, it's totally ridiculous. I was talking to Ted just the other day, and he said... Witness! Please save your phone calls until after you've left the stand. I'm sorry, what were you saying? Name and occupation. My name's Jennifer Dilly. I'm an office manager at a local technology company. Technology company? Kinetic Industries. Have you heard of us? Is that where that college kid from the Red Coat case was working? Oh, you know Wesley. He's pretty handy to have around. He makes an awful cup of coffee, though. So she's the one who's working with Stickler to death every single night? Good. Keep at it. Witness, you saw the murder take place, correct? What? How could that be? I saw the whole thing happen from my apartment. I live on the 4th floor of the East Building at the Dawding apartment complex. And the murder took place on the 4th floor of the West Building. That's how I could see what happened. I see. In that case, please tell the court what you saw that night. Jennifer Dilly, huh? Now, where have I seen that name before? You were a witness in OG4. You were a witness in OG4. What I saw. It was around 10:30 p.m. I was relaxing at home when I just happened to look outside. I saw 2 men in the apartment across the river. One of them had his back turned to me. The man that was furthest from the window had his arm outstretched. That's when I realized that he was probably holding a gun. A short moment later, I heard a gunshot and the man closest to the window fell down. I called the police immediately after that. Why? It sounds as if you witnessed the very moment of the murder. Well. Well. As you can see, Miss Dilly is quite a valuable witness. She saw the victim and the defendant in the middle of their struggle, just before the victim was shot to death. Well, were you able to identify the two men you saw, witness? No. They were too far away for that. Besides, the one that was shot had his back turned to me. All I could tell was that they were both men. I see. If you couldn't see their faces, then you can't say for sure that it was the defendant that shot Fuzz. She doesn't need to. That the defendant is the only person who could have been at the scene has already been proven by Detective Sky's testimony. This witness, on the other hand, only serves to prove that the murder occurred in that apartment during a struggle between two men at the time of the crime. In other words, we already know that the man who fired could only have been the defendant. That can't be true. You may begin, Mr. Justice. This is certainly a thing. You looked outside. Was there any particular reason for that? I wasn't aware that I needed a reason to look through my own window. But it wasn't just your window, was it? For some reason you chose to look at the inside of an apartment in the other building. What was your reason for that? What are you implying? Do you think I spend my time spying on my neighbors like some kind of pervert? Well, you did hire Wesley Stickler of all people. Yeah. At any rate, I think we can agree that there's nothing strange about that witness's account that night. Please continue, Miss Dilly. Oh. Ahem. The river. It's about 80 feet wide, right? That would mean that the distance between the east and west buildings is just over that distance. Essentially, the men would be too far away to clearly see their faces. I'm going to prove that Shay wasn't at the crime scene that night. It doesn't look like I can use this testimony to do it. But it doesn't mean that it isn't worth listening to what the witness saw. So arm outstretched. Furthest from the window. I must have been the killer, right? Fuzz was standing by the coffee table where his body was found when he was shot. Yep, that's where they were. And then... Oh, okay, this is a short one. Probably. I couldn't see what the killer was holding exactly, because of the distance between us. But I could guess that he was holding a gun from the way the two men were standing. Makes sense, I guess. If the shooter fired a pistol at the victim from the location that you saw him, the bullet would have ended up somewhere near the window. I suppose so. So why? Why were there no bullet holes found at the scene? Gunshot! The gunshot. You heard it clearly. Two buildings are certainly close enough that something as loud as a gunshot could be heard. Assuming that the walls weren't soundproofed. Oh, that wouldn't be a problem. Huh? My window was open that night. And so was the window at the crime scene. There's absolutely nothing to block the sound of the gunshot. Something about that last statement. Witness, could you add that to your testimony, please? Uh-oh. The window to Shay's apartment was left open that night. Isn't that a little strange? Well, it has started getting warmer outside. And it's not like he had to worry about anyone breaking in from the 4th floor window. I guess it really is impossible to get into Shay's apartment from that window, huh? She's really confident, isn't she? She seems like the kind of person who works well under pressure. I should be careful with what I press her on. saw the murder as it happened. Which means there must be something important hidden in her testimony. All I've got to do now is drag it out of her. Oh, we're already here. Alright. Nope, not the crime scene diagram. That's clearly contradictory. I fail to see what is so clear about it, Mr. Justice. Are you sure that isn't just because your eyesight is going, well, cute? Alright. Mirror. Makes sense. As far as what the issue would be with that, because we were told that the window was closed. So, how do we prove that? Not that way. I already tried the thing that I thought should work. Just checking. That side. I swear to God, I'm gonna be so mad if I could have sworn I presented at this statement. Fuck! Wait a second. There's clearly something wrong with that statement. Huh? The offense is correct, witness. I have a diagram of the crime scene here. Hold up. This shows the state of the defendant's apartment theory. This shows the state of the department's arrest. God, I can't talk straight. This shows the state of the defendant's apartment. The state of the department's arrest. Yes, that's exactly what I meant to say. Fuck me. This shows the state of the department's This shows the state of the department's. Fuck me, man. Oh, God. This shows the state of the defendant's apartment at the time of arrest. Thank you. Okay, wait. How many times did you butcher that statement, Edgeworth? And the window is clearly shut in this diagram. Oh. Hey, who's the defense attorney here? Yes. Is there an explanation for this discrepancy? Most likely, the defendant closed the window after the victim was shot. And why would he have done that? It was probably an effort to avoid drawing any more attention to himself. An incredibly loud gunshot had just rang out. Though naturally, any witnesses outside the building would look to the open window first. defendant shut the window, unaware that his crime had already been seen by a witness. Damn it! First he steals my spotlight, then he turns it against me. Now Prosecutor Edgeworth has explained away my only contradiction. Ah, so that's why the window wasn't open when the police got there. You see, it really was open when the victim was shot. The window was open, but the police didn't realize because the murderer closed it after Fuzz died. I feel like there's something important about that. Huh? Something important about the fact that the window was open at the time of the murder. Think of it, I wonder if this could explain that piece of evidence. There's something that you'd like to share, Mr. Justice? Well, I was thinking, the window was open while the victim was shot. It brings new meaning to this piece of evidence. Gun? This pistol is the suspected murder weapon. But the police couldn't find any bullets or bullet holes at the crime scene. All we know is that the bullet passed through the victim's chest. Ah, so that's where you're going. The victim and the killer were standing in this position. As the witnesses saw them, and the bullet fired by the killer passed through the victim's chest. The bullet would have gone straight through the open window. And that's why there was no sign of it at the crime scene. At such a trajectory, the bullet most likely ended up in the dawning river. I don't suppose there's any chance of recovering the bullet at this time. It's very unlikely. Dawning River is deceptively deep with an incredibly strong current. There's little to no hope of recovering an object that has already been swept away. I see. I have a feeling we'll be seeing that quoted again down the line somewhere. At any rate, we now know why there was no bullet found at the crime scene. Oh, okay. Is that it for Dilly? Dilly? Well, Mr. Justice, are you willing to accept the witness's testimony? Do I have any more issues to bring up? Apollo, let me help you out. Huh? I started the mood matrix, and you could analyze both Miss Dilly's testimony and her emotions simultaneously. Wait. What do you mean by that? I'll show you the witness's emotional output alongside her testimony. And you can choose to either present evidence or press an unexpected emotion, depending upon where the contradiction is. In other words, just think of it as a regular mood matrix session, where you also have the ability to present contradictory evidence. This way you'll have more options when taking on the witness's testimony. If you think it'll help, if the court would allow it, I'd like to continue my questioning. Mr. Edgeworth? There's no need to rush the verdict. I'd prefer that the defense question the witness as much as they find necessary. As long as Miss Dilly is happy to oblige. Sure. Just don't take too long. Then it looks like we're all in agreement. Now, let's get this straight. If I see a statement that contains contradiction, I'll present the necessary piece of evidence, just like a normal cross-examination. If I see an unusual emotion, I can select it by pressing. Exactly like I've done before with Athena's mood matrix. It's not as scary as it sounds. Just give it a try. I'll be right here if you need my help. Mood matrix initialized. Noise level 100%. It's always 100% with you, Widget. What the hell? Alright. Oh, did I save? Yeah, I did. Just having a look outside. In the apartment across the river, one of them is back turned to me. Just realized one of them was holding a gun. That makes sense. And a second later, I heard a gunshot. The man close to the window fell down. Okay. This feels like the Frankenstein of questioning techniques. That's Frankenstein's monster, Apollo. There are 4 emotions that will appear in the mood matrix. Happiness, shock, confusion, anger, and fear or sadness. can't find a contradictory emotion. Perhaps I should take a look at my evidence instead. Okay. We can press surprise. Hang on. Witness. We looked outside and saw two men across the river. And one of them had a gun pointed at the other, right? That's what I've been saying. So what? So I find it extremely strange that you didn't appear to be very surprised by what you saw. Say what now? One man locked in a struggle with another and holding a pistol. I should think that somebody would be quite shocked to see something like that. Hello. Jennifer speaking. No, I'm not doing anything important right now. He said that? Oh my gosh, that is so outrageous. Did you hear about what Sarah said about him? Oh wow, it's totally crazy. See. I wasn't through talking to you, Miss Dilly. Click. I'm sorry, you were saying something. This lady is starting to get on my nerves. Listen, you weren't shocked at all by what you saw. That's strange, no matter how you look at it. I'm not really the type to get flustered over small stuff like that. Murder is not small stuff. Are you sure that you didn't know that a murder was about to occur? I thought what I know. No. Know something like... Oh. Is there something troubling you? No. Well, I just... That is a very interesting emotion. Oh. Somebody yelled out. Before the murder. What's this? Yeah. It was so loud that it made me jump. It sounded like two people having an argument. I didn't catch what they said exactly. I think I kind of already knew that something bad was about to happen. I guess I forgot about that part until just now. You were able to hear them that clearly from so far away? It wouldn't be impossible, but... it certainly couldn't be as loud as you say. I don't know what to tell you. I heard two people arguing, that's all I can say. Something's not quite right about this. One more thing. If you looked outside because the two men were arguing, wouldn't that mean that you were watching them before the struggle even started? I don't follow. I was going to say, here, normal sprites... I vaguely felt like I saw her before. But this is an interesting emotion, this sort of pensive, eyes wide scowl. I really like this sprite. You're under the impression that you caught the two men in the middle of their fight. But this is not really the kind of time that you would expect them to be having a conversation. Surely that would have happened before the struggle even began. Well, they were just standing there for a few moments when I saw them. Guess I really was watching before the fight then. Witness, please add your previous statement to your testimony. Ready for round two? Bring it on. Matrix initialized, noise level 80%. Thank you, widget. Okay, shouting, surprise. One was holding a gun. Shouting. Gun. Looks like we have some new statements to deal with. So where did the contradiction lie? Is it in the witness's testimony, or is it in her emotions? That's what you need to find out. It's up to you to figure out which approach is the best one to take. Thanks for the help. Okay, shock, yes. Fear. Okay. I feel like there's still no shock, though. False. Is the right emotion? I don't think there's anything strange about what you pointed out. Don't worry about it. Just think things through and give it another shot. Oh, and don't feel like you need to focus on the witness's emotions just because the mood matrix is up. You shouldn't hesitate to present evidence if you think there's a contradiction somewhere. Got it. Time to go over this testimony once more. Shouting from outside. Two men, one was holding a gun. I wonder. False. Something off about this statement. Oh? What might that be? Your face. I mean, I don't know exactly what the problem is, but... Please think before you start needlessly objecting next time, Mr. Justice. Drat. That didn't go so well. I need to rethink things through. I need to think this through again. Also keep in mind that... Okay. So that's just... the... contradictory outcomes if you get the wrong side dialogue. It just reminds you that you can do the other thing. Gotcha! False. No, it's not. We do have our own testimony now. Gotcha! False. No, it's not. Nope. I feel like this completely contradicts. Alright, I don't know what to do with this. Oh wait, she heard noises. And then... gun. What about bottle? Objection! What the? That wasn't my voice just now. What is his testimony contradicts the evidence? Oh, come on! Now you're music too. What's with you? Why do you keep helping the defense attorney? My case against the defendant is only as strong as the evidence I used to make it. I will not use shoddy testimony to convict the man of murder. Shoddy? You claim that you were watching the two men since before the struggle began, implying that you saw the whole thing take place. That's because I did. What's wrong with that, I said? You told us that the killer fired the pistol without warning. But you have completely neglected a certain piece of evidence. You really did see the whole struggle. You should have seen the defendant get hit with the bottle. But bottle? Even if you couldn't make out what the weapon was from such a distance, you still would have seen the victim get hit before he was shot. Oh, that's right. I thought that was I thought that something sounded off about that testimony. Sheesh, Apollo. You must be really off your game if you let that one slip past you. I didn't! I was literally about to. Do you have an explanation for us, witness? Put it down. Either you saw the entire struggle or you missed it. Well, which one is it, witness? I don't know. Is that what you wanted to hear? It's a load of bull. How am I supposed to remember this crap? Listen. I don't know why, but since I started talking, I just can't think clearly anymore. Are you feeling alright, witness? I don't know. I can't get that incident straight in my head anymore. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for being so damn useless I can't even do this. Oh, damn. I'd like to step down now. This isn't good. She's breaking down on the spot. We're not going to get anything else out of her like this. Looks like Miss Dilly has fallen into a blind panic. I don't understand. What happened? Something's got her confused. Badly. I don't know what it is, but she's trying desperately to keep it buried and deep inside of her. She's trying to maintain that professional image that she has going on. I have an idea. If the witness won't admit what has her so confused, we've got to find it ourselves. Therapy intensifies. All we have to do is use the mood matrix. Go back and dig through her testimony. I'm sure we'll find out what's causing the problem. Oh yeah. Use the matrix to find the source of the witness's confusion, huh? Okay, let's give it a shot. Miss Dilly said that she wasn't able to think clearly when she's remembering the incident. If I calmly consider things, the only thing that I can think of that might be scrambling through her memories like this. The mood matrix is ready. Remember, all you've got to do is press the witness to find the source of her confusion. Oh, you don't have to worry about presenting evidence this time around either. Whatever you're looking for, maybe one of the highlighted statements. So all you have to do is select the correct statement. Got it. Mood matrix reinitialized. Noise level 75%. Shouting from outside. Two men, one was holding a gun. Killer fired the pistol completely out of the blue. I don't know, what am I looking for exactly? If we want to get any more information out of the witness, we need to figure out what's causing her confusion. How am I supposed to know that? There have been a few problems with her testimony up till now. I think that something is scrambling her memories about the incident. You just need to use what you know about the witness to figure out what that might be. What do I know about her? I've only just met her! What do I know? What could that be? OG4. Crime scene saw two men, one was holding a gun. Crime scene? False. Is this causing the problem? I don't think so. I'm looking for whatever it is that's messing with the witness's memory. How am I supposed to figure that out? It's just an idea, but what if the witness was mixing up two different memories? Yeah, we know, it's OG4, but she saw a crime. The cause of death was a gunshot wound, so it could be one of many things. In case you need to look for whatever part of what she saw that would make her do that. But I'm supposed to know about the witness's memories if she hasn't told us anything. Good point. Pistol?
Gotcha!
Okay. Of course. This has to be it. Miss Dilly. What? It's obvious that something has you quite shaken. It's causing your memories to get all mixed up. I don't know what you're talking about. There are several points in your testimony that don't make sense. Hearing a shout when you were too far away, missing part of the struggle. It's almost as if you're mixing up the incident with a different one. And the whole thing centers around this, the gunshot you heard. Are you talking about that? But how could you know? I'm quite lost, I'm afraid. What is this other incident that you say is confusing the witness? OG4. Is this the file that Prosecutor Edgeworth was talking about earlier? The OG4 incident. A case that bears a striking resemblance to our own. It was a murder that took place on the Dawning Street Bridge. The victim was shot to death. Not only that, there was a witness who saw the whole thing. And not just any witness. Jennifer Dilly. You were also a witness to that. You were also a witness in that case 9 months ago. What? So that's why the witness was finding it so difficult to keep her story straight. The 2 incidents were so similar that their memories were mixed up. In that case, the shouting she heard, and the sudden shot that she witnessed. Right. Those were all memories from the OG4 case, not this one. Oh, wait a minute! Who do you think you are, talking about me like that? I'm not the type of person to make such a stupid mistake like that. Jennifer. What? I understand that you want to prove how strong you are. But hiding your true feelings from us isn't the way to do it. What are you saying? You saw someone die. Twice, even. It's completely understandable that you'd be shaken up by witnessing something like that. But true strength isn't about not showing any emotion. It's about having the courage to face those feelings head on. Aw. It's now or never, witness. Tell us what you really saw that night. I was in my living room, laying down on the sofa as I was beginning to doze off. Suddenly, a loud noise from outside jolted me awake. I jumped up and looked out my window, at the apartment across the river. The window was open and there were 2 men inside. Less than a second later, I saw the flash in the furthest man's right hand, and a gunshot rang out. The man closest to the window fell down. It took me a moment to realize that I had just witnessed a murder. Another one. That should do it. Looked outside because a loud noise woke you up. What was it? The only thing I can think of is that bottle. I didn't see the victim get hit, so it must have been the sound of it smashing that I heard. Yes, the bottle would have been smashed at around this time. That'd make our initial assumption correct. Miss Dilly didn't see the start of the struggle, only the very last moment when Fuzz was shot. It's all something that doesn't sit quite right with me. Witness, now that we've cleared up your memories, would you mind testifying for us one more time? Oh? I was kinda hoping we were done here. I'm sorry. I just want to hear the full story one more time. I concur. We should get all of the facts straight before we move on. Okay. Miss Dilly's a lot more timid than she was a moment ago, huh? It's like we've witnessed her full character arc over the past 20 minutes. You read too many stories. Too many manga. Anyway, can you load up the mood matrix one more time? Aye aye, Captain. Mood matrix reinitialized. Noise level 25%. So we are close to the end. Up to the sound of the glass bottle being smashed. Confused, I looked outside. There were 2 men in the apartment across the river. A second later, the man furthest from the window fired the pistol. I saw the flash and heard the shot. Coming to grips with what I'd seen, I called the police. Huh, strange. I thought we were done, but I'm still sensing a bit of noise. There's still a contradiction to be found. Oh, evidence or motion? Good question.
Gotcha!
False. Just want to try some obvious choices. Okay, so no emotions on that. Now I can just figure out what to do from here. Two men in the apartment across the river. I mean, that's probably not wrong. Situation where I'd want to press for more details. Feel like we have the matter of the glass smashing, and then Fuzz still being on his feet to get shot. So I feel like maybe we don't do that. We say we did. And we don't do that either.
Gotcha!
False. I don't know. Looks pretty normal to me. You're the expert. I should try something else. Yeah, nice and short. I wonder... Okay. I think what we're going with is that why would glass smashing reverberate across an 80-foot gap? I presented the Dawning Street map, which was a backup plan formulating in my mind. I knew there was something strange here. Prosecutor Edgeworth noticed it too, no doubt. Do you have a problem with the witness's statement, Mr. Justice? I do. Witness says that it was the sound of this bottle smashing that woke her up. Yeah. The prosecutor said that it was smashed over the victim's head. During the struggle before he was killed, right? That's true. However, the struggle took place in the defendant's apartment, which, as we've discussed multiple times, is a significant distance from your own. It for itself is 80 feet wide, making the space between the two buildings just over that. If a glass bottle was smashed that far away from you, there's no way that the sound would be loud enough to wake you up. Oh! Good work, Mr. Justice. Naturally, I noticed this issue myself. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I don't know. A loud noise woke me up, but I have no clue what it could have been. I'm still a little dazed, I guess. If forgot that the crime scene would have been too far away. If it wasn't the bottle, I don't know what it could have been. All I can tell you is that it was a loud noise that came from the other building. A loud noise that came from the crime scene. You don't think the noise could only have been... Find out next video.